Have you ever seen like an image on the internet of Kirk fighting an alligator?
No.
Or like a crocodile?
Hold on a second. What was that? Hold on.
Captain's Pod, Stardate 309522.3. Welcome aboard the Starship's Enterprise, and thank you for joining us as we take a brief shore leave from the world of CinemaSins to explore the universe of Star Trek. I am your Captain Ian Whittington. With me, as always, is the boldly exploring Ambassador Deneé Hughes, and a brand new addition to the crew, the strangely new world that is Commodore Aaron Dicer.
Oh, Commodore! Thank you, I think.
Now, the reason you are Commodore is because during this period of Star Trek, the title of Commodore exists.
Okay.
But in modern Star Trek, like the Picard era, it's redundant and isn't around anymore.
Okay, well there, it's
so
perfect.
That kind of works, doesn't it?
When I was growing up, we had a Commodore 64 computer, so...
Yes, I did not, because I am young. Deneé, how do you feel about our newest crew member?
Oh, I'm excited because that means I have more people to play with.
Yay! Oh, what? Wait, was I not enough?
Oh, look at that! Just immediately it happened. Immediately, it was like, oh, that's a slam on me somehow.
I gave you an entire holodeck to play with, loads of imaginary friends, just because I'm not there all day.
Right. So the Enterprise is entirely empty, but for the captain's chair and the ambassador's seat.
Yes. There is like 2 hours where you have my attention, and then the rest of the day you can do whatever else it is you want.
It's like if your kid was like, I want to play with other kids. You just had one kid, and then you're like, I gave you coloring books. Like, what do you want?
Exactly. Amuse
Use
yourself.
your imagination, child. God.
Come on. Look at the flashy box in the corner that shows you things.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can't believe that's not enough.
Like, I'm gonna be able to take this Commodore around and
yeah.
You're gonna get to see the things that I haven't even shown Captain yet. Like
nice.
The things I've been doing with the replicator. I've been replicating tiny little baby doll parts and gluing them together in odd shapes.
That's so
I love
scary.
It. I love it.
That's terrifying.
Full Toy Story.
Captain's never seen it before.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm now imagining you, as soon as you said it, that you're carrying around an actual Commodore 64 and this is your new friend. You just called it Aaron.
That's right. Just name the computer.
Yeah.
Like I wheel in a little computer and the face is just like, like the pixelated smile.
Hello, that's me.
Would you like to play a game?
What shall we do today, Deneé?
I'm so glad I created you from
Thank you,
replicator
Deneé.
parts. You're welcome.
Please kill me. I do not want to exist anymore. Have a nice day.
You are my god.
I am. I would prefer goddess, but
What does God need with a Commodore?
he's very handy. And then just pat this head, just like the square monitor head.
Occasionally just blow into the cartridge hole to clear it out if it breaks down.
He likes that a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
He smiles. Right, okay. I mean, Commodore, how do you feel about joining this enterprise?
No, this is great. No, in all honesty, I've really been enjoying listening to you guys talk about Star Trek. As people may know from previous Wait, hold on. Did you ever play the episode that we were all on? Did that ever come out in the feed?
Which one?
The Sin Week one. Did that ever?
Oh, not yet. No. So on Patreon, yes, but no, not in the feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So people don't know what a troll I meant. So I've got to introduce. I've got to introduce my trolliness.
So anyone that hasn't seen the live show on the Sinclub yet, Aaron, how much of a troll are you?
Only to you, and I'll tell you why. I do the Star Wars thing, like I confuse that we're talking about Star Wars or whatever. It's one of my favorite jokes, and it'll probably happen 5 times in this episode. But
hugely original.
It's very original. Everybody loves it. Nobody thinks it's tired. It's amazing. But the reason I do it is because I'm safe here. This is what I know about Star Trek fans. They're safe. Now, the other way around, I would never do that because Star Wars fans are the worst. Like they are. And when I say that, I mean like toxic fandom is like, if you were to put that in the dictionary, the picture you'd put next to it is the Star Wars
kind
fandom.
Of is. Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I mean, listen, there are great Star Wars fans. I'm one of them, but I'm just saying, like, in general, I know with Star Trek fans, I've never really met one that felt toxic. It always felt like I can joke around with them or be silly or whatever.
Well,
so I'm excited.
There's plenty of it on Twitter. There's loads of anti-disco people and anti anything that wasn't Rick Berman era Star Trek.
Sure, of course.
It doesn't seem to be as divisive as a Star Wars for sure.
Well, it's probably because the whole point of Trek has always been about acceptance and openness,
Kind of.
and so
it is baffling to me that that message gets lost. I was like, do you know the thing that you're rooting for is diametrically opposed to your viewpoint? But there we go. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on board. Looking forward to looking through Strange New Worlds.
I'm excited, man.
So the pair of you, what context do you have for the show, what we're about to go into, what it is, where it is? I feel like Aaron will be ahead, so Deneé, go first.
Okay. I remember that you said it was before something, but also
Great. Mm-hmm.
has a really beautiful man in it.
Yes.
Who's
Anson
wearing
Mount.
yellow?
Mm-hmm. He's wearing yellow.
Holy handsome is he. That's all I know.
And that's a great point that you accidentally bring up, is that the colours are going to be a bit confusing for you specifically because you're used to TNG where red means command, yellow means science, blue means medical. And
I totally
pretty
knew
much
that.
covers it off. Damn it. Data wears yellow. Geordie wears yellow.
I thought it was because it was just...
Did you know that the colors meant anything today?
No.
Well, never mind. The colours... You know what? Just look at the pretty colours today. I don't even need to explain that.
I did think it was rank based, not like area based. So I thought it was like Captain is in red and then Riker's in red. But then when Wesley showed up in red after he was bumped up, that was confusing to me because I was like, whoa, he's over Data now? That's a big deal.
Yeah, right. So in as much as the command pathway for your career is red, the sciences pathway for like engineering, stuff like that is yellow, security is yellow, medical and like astrophysics and the really hard sciences are all blue. Wesley's on like the command path, so he's in red.
He's in red. Oh, interesting.
That's it.
Okay.
But ignore all of that because the colours are different in the original series. Totally different. So yellow is command, red is security, and blue is medical and science. So blue stays the same, but red and gold are.
So was that it? Was that your complete context?
It wasn't.
Anson is gorgeous and he wears yellow?
Yeah, that's all I know.
Okay.
So really. Well, Aaron, do you have
I have
anything
a little bit
more
than that? Just because I watch Discovery. So because I watch Discovery, I know Anson Mount's character because he's been in Star Trek Discovery.
Anson Mount's a character? What'd you say?
No, I said Anson
the
Mount's
actor.
character.
Anson Mount is the
he
actor.
probably will mount several characters. I don't know.
What is
if
happening
it's
right
anything
now?
like
That's guaranteed.
Kurt, there'll be some mounting for sure. No, the actor's name is Anson Mount.
Okay.
Not Ensign Mount, who's the horniest ensign
known.
This got off the rails fast.
What did you expect?
Yeah.
So I know that is Pike, right? That's
correct.
If I'm
Captain
remembering
Pike.
correctly, which captains the Enterprise before Kirk.
Yes.
I believe, but Spock is already on that ship.
Correct.
So Spock will be in this show, like actual Spock will be in this
Lieutenant
show.
Spock, yeah.
And it
That's
will
his
be
name. It's just actual Spock.
Actual Spock, yeah.
Spock Prime.
Very confusing.
I don't know.
Don't do that. No. Because I don't know if this even is Spock Prime. Yeah. I don't even know if it is.
So I just love making your brain explode.
Man, my brain hurts so much.
So anyhow, so this is, I believe, right before TOS. This is right before the original series.
Yes.
So that to me is enough context to get me super excited, just because I know the original series and I know those characters, and I really enjoyed him in Discovery. So
he's brilliant.
He's really good.
He's so good.
I've got hope.
So Star Trek on TV originally started with Captain Pike, Christopher Pike. He was played by Jeffrey Hunter, and that was the pilot, and that was called The Cage, and that had Spock, Sulu, but nobody else. Like the entire crew is totally different, and Spock has emotions, and it's very, very different. Nobody apparently in the studios liked that pilot, so they said you have to recast everybody other than Leonard Nimoy and George Takei. That's it. They're the only two that can stay. Your captain is gone. The rest of the crew is gone. The doctor is gone. Everything is different. They came back with another pilot, and that is where you get Shatner and Dr. McCoy.
Well, Shatner's the other pilot.
The other what?
You said they came back with another pilot. That is
the other pilot. So the crew that we know is them. And it wasn't until like way later in the series, they never released that pilot on TV, but they released some footage of it towards the end of the first season to explain that it existed for some reason. So canonically, he is the first captain of the Enterprise. So this is the longest amount of time between a pilot that never got aired to actually getting commissioned for a full season.
Nice.
So good. It's so great. So yeah, that's it. This is about 10 years before Captain Kirk. So he shouldn't be in the picture at all.
I kind of want to get a general gauge. Like, how excited are you for this, Ian, and why?
I am really super duper excited. Because even though this is set in the past, it's set in the future, but it's not Picard future. It's set during a period of time that we're already familiar with. I'm really excited for us being on the Enterprise, doing adventures that I haven't seen before, and the fact that this series is, we've been told that it's going to be episodic. So instead of this huge overarching narrative that we see in Discovery and Picard, this is largely going to be episodic. There will obviously be
I don't think modern TV writers can help themselves. I genuinely don't. I don't think they know how to do truly episodic TV anymore. Like, everything is serial, even the stuff that's not supposed to be, but we'll see.
Even like the crime procedurals like Castle ended up being, you couldn't just dip into that. But I think this will be 75% episodic with some character growth and development throughout. But I like this return
like
to
X-Files kind of like
X-Files.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of in 5 years from now, I can come back, pick out one of my favorite episodes and watch that and not worry about missing a ton of context. You cannot do that with Discovery. It just doesn't work. You definitely can't do it with Picard.
But I thought Discovery was going to be that.
Yes.
I thought Discovery was going to be episodic. That's why I say I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So were there a lot of rule differences like in Starfleet back then? I mean, you're saying it's in the future, but I'm saying back then, which it might be confusing to listen to podcasters. Sorry about that. But for me,
Deneé lives in Picard's era. Just get that in your mind. And you'll be safe.
I'm in Picard era. Yeah. I'm in TNG zone. So like in the past, like when this takes place, are there going to be a lot of differences between rules and like obviously relationships with aliens will be different and different races and all that stuff. So is that exciting to you? Because that's kind of exciting to me because it'll show some of the history of all of that.
I would love to see some big historical moments that are referenced by Picard and the crew. Like, because I'm such a nerd, there are treaties that I know happen during this time, and there are wars that happen during this time, and things that are discovered that I'm really interested to actually watch be discovered. But the rules themselves were largely the same. Transporters do the same thing. The Prime Directive is still there. Don't interfere with aliens, but Kirk just said,
they always do.
Screw that. Everybody does it, so it just doesn't matter. Yeah. Screw those aliens. But I don't, and it kind of comes back a little bit to trust as well, is that you kind of have to trust that the writers know enough about the rules in this period of Star Trek to stick to them as well, which cynically, I don't know that they will, but who knows? And does it matter? Like, if they tell a good story and it's entertaining, I really don't mind.
I just think it'd be fun. You know how like in Picard, there were just these winks and nods. For example, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Picard, just skip ahead about 10 seconds. When Dr. Soong opens up the drawer and he gets that file out, the name on it, I guess I don't have to say it. That, for example, is a wink and a nod to something that happens. Like, it would be really interesting if in Stranger Things, they would do something similar, right? Where they kind of give little winks and nods to information. What did I say?
Stranger Things.
God damn it.
This is not a Stranger Things review podcast.
No, you've got
this
Aaron.
Is definitely Stranger
He's going to throw in Star Wars. I'm going to throw in Stranger Things. Oh, Captain, you're...
Third episode, Deneé's like, when does the Demogorgon show up?
Are we in the Upside Down yet?
Where's my fucking Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh my goodness. There will 100% be nods, but I think they will make a conscious effort to not do it as much as Picard or even as much as Discovery. I think they will want this to be its own show. Like, for the first 2 seasons of TNG, there was an embargo on, you cannot mention the old Enterprise, you cannot mention the old crew members. If it happened in TOS, you ignore it. And because it had to establish itself as its own show. And it largely did that, but there's a balance. There is acknowledging the universe you're in and not pandering to, oh, look, it's something we recognize.
Yeah, I respect that.
A tribble, exactly.
Oh my God, are we going to see tribbles? Are they going to be the suction cup tribbles?
They're going to be. Oh my goodness. They're going to be tribbles and porgs, and they're going to meet.
And mate.
Oh.
Stop it. No, stop. And then they're going to get eaten by Worf.
Yes.
Okay, well, we need to get into this.
I can't wait to watch it, but I do have a question.
Please do. Go.
For context, and maybe they'll say this, but can you tell me, was it Discovery that was like the Bacula one where it was like not Discovery, sorry.
I can't tell if you're deliberately trolling me.
No.
Something's going to get thrown at you.
I said Enterprise, right?
And Enterprise was
the like
Bacula, yeah.
Yeah, and that was
before this.
Correct. So how much before this is Enterprise? That's I just want to be in the timeline.
So this is roughly 80 years after Archer.
Okay.
Roughly, around about there.
I had no idea the show Archer had anything to do with this, but that's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
With that, we will see you guys for a full debrief in 10 Forward after we have watched episode 1 of Strange New Worlds, entitled Strange New Worlds.
Phrasing.
Ding!
2 to beam. No, wait, 2 to beam. Aaron's going to walk.
That's
3
right.
to beam to the Enterprise. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab anything from the replicator other than a gun that transports bullets into people and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode that we just watched together. Most important question first for our visiting Commodore. What would you like from the replicator? There are restrictions because you've just got here.
Okay. So what are my... you said anything, and I got really excited.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me and I'll tell you if it's restricted.
I want a normal size...
Define normal.
I want just like a water bottle. I just want a normal size water bottle that never runs out of water.
Well, that's magic. That's not...
Well, you said anything. You said anything.
You want me to tie the transporter into your water bottle so that as soon as it empties, it beams new water into it.
Yes, you got it.
Okay,
so
but
you understand.
You can't have anything else. That is your entire...
For the entire season?
Allocation for the entire season. That is the only thing you can replicate.
It means I don't have to think of anything next time.
So
I like
much
it.
energy. Deneé, what would you like that is sensible and not breaking the laws of physics, Jim?
I know I don't want to suck on like the liquid crystal that lets me see my death. So
Nope.
That's one thing I know I don't want to do.
I do.
You do?
You absolutely would, wouldn't you?
Of course. All
You
information
wanna
is
know.
good information. I don't understand this.
You don't think it right? Okay, put a pin in that because that's one of my favorite debates that this show brought up. So as I was watching it, I turned. So bit of context: me and Deneé would usually watch the episode together and then record because of recording weirdness. Me and Aaron are watching the episode together, and Deneé is at her place. So there were times in the episode when I was like, this isn't going to make any sense to Deneé at all. But I think the show did a pretty good job of explaining it.
But it would make sense to me?
Yeah, because you've seen Discovery.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask about the Discovery.
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah.
Because I don't know like how much of that it was just in Discovery or if it's known
just there's a bit of both, interestingly.
Okay. All right, okay.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty details, let's go round the table. Who?
You.
What?
You didn't grab your drink from the replicator, Captain.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I would like just some milk, please, because there's no milk in this house, so I can't make any tea.
Oh,
So computer, give me some milk.
No, you should come over. I've got so much.
So much milk.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to come over to Deneé's for milk.
Mm-hmm.
Odd sentences I didn't think I'd say today. Okay, Deneé, what did you think? I am fascinated. I'm fascinated by Aaron's opinion as well, but...
That's all right. You don't have to be.
Screw that guy.
You don't have to be.
You're just the new. You're the new guy. You're the new guy. Hold on.
Yeah.
You'll have your moment. Listen.
You'll get your moment in the sun.
Sure.
Will you stop kicking up such a fuss, Commodore?
I'm
Calm
stuck
down.
over here in the pun crapper.
The punstibule.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up, this is the first time since starting Captain's Pod where we haven't been watching it where we can at least see each other, because even when you're in England, we both watch at the same time and we have our our hangouts up. So I felt like this was really not as fun for me because I couldn't look over. I know I was isolated and wondering what you guys were thinking and completely disconnected. So I really did not enjoy this.
I should have had you up on the laptop during the
we should have done something, because the whole time I'm like, I wonder what Ian is doing right now. I wonder what Aaron is doing right now. And
Ian was giggling a lot.
what were you, Aaron?
No, Ian was. Ian was giggling a lot.
See, that makes it even worse, because then I feel like I missed some fun shit.
No, I gotta tell you, Ian was in his own world. I didn't hear a thing.
No,
I literally
was quiet.
didn't hear a peep from Ian the entire episode.
I was internally giggling, but there was silence from me. I was taking shit in.
Yeah, we were the stereotypical when dudes hang out dudes. Like, it was just nobody said a thing, nobody reacted. We just watched the show.
Okay, so if I was there, let's just say I'm there, I'm sitting in between the both of you, I would have been slapping you and going, holy shit, this is awesome, because it fucking ruled. I loved this so much. I had a blast. I'm so curious, like how many things.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Oh my God, it's beautiful and nostalgic, and I really like the characters, and Spock's voice is like,
oh my God, Ethan Peck's voice.
Holy shit.
Gravelly butter. It is so good.
Oh my God, and the characters and the representation of strong female, like I'm fucking in this shit. Sorry. Okay.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. That's awesome. Aaron?
Terrible. What a terrible start.
Get off my ship.
This was phenomenal. I loved this so much. Aside from wanting to sleep with every human on the show.
Yes. And the aliens, to be honest.
Come on.
I love the characters. I love the character introduction and still giving us a good story for the first episode. Like, it was really well done. It's absolutely gorgeous. That Montana stuff was drop dead amazing. Yeah, I really, really liked it. I had a lot of fun. I came away going, okay, I would spend 10 episodes a year with these people for the next 20 years. Like, just keep going. Don't get lost in trying to create complex parodies, reveals. I don't need a single twist. Just keep telling me great stories with these people, and I'm going to be around forever.
That's why TNG worked so well. It's why the original series kept going.
So, yeah, I love it.
I had just a strange moment there where I felt like I was personally invested in the show, and that's just something that Star Trek has done to me. I thought this was something I'd written, put together. I was so invested in like you guys liking it, and maybe that's a hangover from Picard season 2 being specifically not what we all wanted. But I'm right there with you. I loved this. Like, I said that I loved Discovery when it started and then went into like lukewarm. This, I am just fully in. It reminded me of just like the original series, and it's just how it unashamedly does an adventure, and it does some of the Star Trek tropey stuff that we love, like the good tropes, the really cool stories,
they did the
and the
space,
people
the final
stuff.
Frontier. I mean, let's go. They said it. They said the words.
Anson Mount said the words. It had and then just as a TV show on its own, it had a great balance of introducing the new, respecting the old, doing a new adventure as well, and it clipped along at such a pace, but I didn't feel confused by who was what. Everyone had a great personality and brought something different to the table. I loved it. The new Enterprise design is beautiful without messing too much with the original. The space stuff looks beautiful. It's just everything about this episode was a great start to the season. Really happy.
Yeah, I really dig it. I'm really excited.
So I want to dive into, first of all, the stuff that confused people. Like, the stuff that you're like, that's a reference that I need some context for.
Do I have to go watch 4 seasons of Discovery to understand when Spock talks about losing his sister, what he's talking about?
Yeah. So what do you think was missing that you need some added context for? Start with Aaron. Because you've watched Discovery, which this leans into quite a bit.
Well, and here's the thing. In many ways, one of the things you'll hear in my voice about not enjoying serialized content as much as I used to is because my brain, it doesn't hold on to that stuff very well. So even some of the Discovery stuff, I'm going, what did happen with Spock's sister? You know, like all that stuff. And then the technology that they got from them. I know that was a huge moment in Discovery, yet still my brain is going, yeah, but what happened in that moment? What was the, like, so even though I've watched all of Discovery, I say all of Discovery except for this last, like, second half of this last season, I was still lost by a little bit of that stuff, some of the Discovery stuff. And then I just, I had questions about, like, does this alien race have a context? Like, did they mention the name of this alien race?
Yeah, the Kylies or
the Kylies.
Yeah.
Is it similar to the Ferengi?
No,
like, is it
totally different?
Do they look even?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
See,
this is a brand new alien race.
Okay. All right. All right.
No, Ferengi have very specific butt patterns. We talked about it last episode.
Literally last week. The butt heads with the big ears.
Okay.
And the
okay.
Uma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. I'm visualizing that now.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have any context for that, but
Nobody
had any context for that, which makes sense. So
I don't know. So one of the things that is fun about episodic series is that I don't have to care too much. Like, it doesn't feel like Picard, where I know there's going to be this sort of mysterious thread that they're attempting to reveal. They did that in season 1, and they did that essentially in season 2, where there's this mystery that you know is going to be sustaining through the rest of the series. And this is missing that entirely, and I'm happy about it. So if they choose to mention something that I don't understand, like what was the race that jettisoned
the Gorn?
The Gorn. Like, I don't know anything about them, but they sound horrific, right?
So have you ever seen like an image on the internet of Kirk fighting an alligator?
No.
Or like a crocodile?
Hold on a second. What was that? Hold on.
Sorry.
Can you just insert some like pause music for a moment?
are you sure? Are you sure you want to Google this?
Wait.
I don't know that this is.
We'll pause it.
Star Trek Captain and alligator.
I mean, you're gonna get alligator pictures. I'm just telling you.
Wrestle.
Captain Kirk and the Gorn. Yeah, wrestling the Gorn.
Swamp King, pro WWE wrestler turned gator trainer. Okay.
Kirk versus Gorn. We'll do it.
Kirk versus Gorn. Kirk.
And then go into images.
Gorn. What is happening right now?
So the Gorn are a species that we know about. They only appear, I think it's once or twice in the original series. And yeah, Kirk has to do a fight to the death with this Gorn, and he MacGyver's rocket cannon together and stuff.
I like how the Gorn just starts off the fight by casually walking up with a stick and thwacking like
the
a
entire
tree.
battle is like that.
Wait, it's so slow. Is this real?
Yeah. Oh, then this is real speed. Yeah, it's one of the most iconic but bad fight sequences in all of Star Trek.
Well,
like it's pretty rubber.
Is the idea though that he's not really designed for this sort of thing? Like, God, how different are our fight sequences? This is insane.
Yeah, it's totally.
They're
different.
hugging right now. This isn't terrifying. Yes. Of course, I've got it on mute. I can't hear anything. I think he's kissing him. Okay, so the Gorn are the ones that are these terrible people. Okay.
And they're pretty scary. Like, they never return as like a big bad, but they're mentioned a lot throughout Star Trek. But there is a war with the Gorn at around about this time-ish. So they are aware of each other, and they're a nasty group of aliens.
Yeah. So what was interesting to me is I don't have to understand Gorn for them to do the appropriate thing and give me just enough that I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible.
Absolutely.
And then by the end of the episode, as the security officer, or is that right, officer?
Yep. And her name is, I just had it in front of me, the name of the person in which we are talking as Ian vamps and attempts to do things while we are continuing to talk about the person that we cannot find the name of, La'ana Noonien Singh.
Yeah, that's why I knew that. As she's, talking about the severity of her situation with the debrief moment and everyone dying around her, and then like towards the end where she's just sent off on this like raft in space. That's how you kind of do those things, right? You just give enough that you have the context that you need. The only curious thing I would say about like Aaron, you mentioned Spock saying something about his sister, for example. The only curiosity I have is how casual Captain Pike seemed to be when he was like, "Yeah, I miss her."
Yeah, I'm sorry she died.
So that's the thing that I'm like, that seems a little bit strange. Like, you're super casual about Spock's sister's death. But that might be just an acting weird moment more than it is telling some deeper story. And if there's more for that, we can talk about it kind of like later in an episode, maybe this comes up again. But I like the episodic kind of vibe. Hold on one second. I'm going to think of it, because there was another one that they did. The mention of the Discovery and what Discovery did to introduce this civilization to the
portal
warp
thing
information too early.
Yeah.
Even that, I don't feel like I have to go back and watch anything. It's just like, cool, yeah, that happened. Moving on.
I think they did a great job of explaining enough without giving you 5 minutes of flashbacks to previously on Discovery. Like, we would struggle to sin that because it goes by so quickly and it just gives you enough without bogging down the show as a spin-off.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to sin that, I'd sin the fact that you could reverse.
Okay, hold your horses, and that's we have an entire segment for that stuff, and that's a big one.
You brought up sinning it. That's all I'm saying.
We saw it in the sky, so let's do it.
Oh, that is the okay. Hold your horses. All you need to know is that, I mean, Discovery is based around Spock's sister. They're not in the picture anymore, so we will not bump into Discovery. They've been flung into the future. That's all
way
classified.
Into the future.
Way into the future, like 1,000 years into the future.
Okay.
Loads. It's all classified. I think Pike knows that they're in the future and not dead, which is why
he's so casual.
He says, "Yeah, I miss her," and is so casual. Yeah. Spock and everyone else in Starfleet, even the Commodore person, doesn't know. They assume that Discovery is all dead and gone. And yeah, the warp bubble stuff, they just explain, like, to send Discovery to the future, they have to get all of these warp drives doing a thing. So that it explains literally all that you need to know. So you don't need to worry.
Maybe this is too far down a rabbit trail we don't need to go down because the show doesn't go down. The Discovery ship has this weird transportation thing. Did they have that before they jumped into the future? Does the Federation know about
the spore drive?
The spore drive?
So that's one of the reasons Discovery had to get sent to the future.
Yeah.
So they, for some reason, the showrunners didn't want to use warp drive, so they used a mushroom drive that makes you disappear.
It. You quit.
No. It's up. It's up.
Oh, he's got his hand signal up. Okay.
The signal is up.
Okay.
That is the truth. And it jumps them into a mycelial network that allows them to reappear. It's a
ship teleporter, basically.
It's a ship teleporter. Yeah.
That is Circle of Spores, Druid Dungeons and Dragons shit right there.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's Avatar.
But that started to become a problem because, hey, guess what? That doesn't happen. So the writers sent Discovery to the future to stop it being a problem. And now we can just Strange New Worlds our way back into warp drive and the stuff we're used to.
So do they know about the spore drive or not?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's classified.
It's classified.
They can't talk about it. So Pike knows about it.
Okay.
But otherwise, all knowledge has been classified and buried and dead and gone. That's all we need to know about that.
I think the only thing that my questions were, like you're talking about, like, let's clear up any confusion. If there was one thing I was constantly thinking in my mind, it is, does this look like what original series look like? Do the medical devices look the same? Do these rooms remind you of the same? Like, is the vibe of this ship doing enough where it's staying true to like its origin while also kind of bringing things up into the future? Because I was truly curious about it. Like the bridge, does it look enough like the bridge that you're like super into it? I recognize the earpiece from the communicator lady.
Yep. Uhura. Yeah. Hand on heart, yes and no. Like, no, obviously, because we are not recording this in 1960.
It's the hardest part
nor
of
should
continuity.
it.
Yeah.
The hardest part. But in all of the ways that matter, yes, there are knobs and dials. The communicator, the flippy communicator, it even looks like the one from the cage and not from the original series. So it changed. Like, it was much more rectangular in Captain Pike's episode, the pilot that got cancelled. And then it changed and become rounder for Kirk's communicator. So little details like that are absolutely spot on. The ways that they can keep it looking the same without being jarring, they absolutely have.
So they've made that failed pilot canon. I mean, it's just
so the original series made it canon.
Oh, okay.
Because it's referred to in that series, and Captain Pike appears in the original series.
And what about the sounds? Like, you know, you're hearing
goodness.
So like there's this moment when the warp the ship comes out of warp and it makes this sound, and I'm like, I wonder if that's the original sound, or the way that they beam out. Is that all kind of
so the beam? This is one of my favorite things, and you're gonna love this, Aaron, because I'm losing my what's-its. When they beam down, there is that kind of screech that's like, and it's only in the pilot. That sound effect is only in the pilot. Like, they changed the transporter sound from then onwards, but they're using it here. It's so good. There are so many great,
That's
unobtrusive nods to the pilot that this is based on. It's so great.
Oh, that's
so
great. I love that a lot.
I do
it's
too.
So good.
Every single time something happened mechanically or, you know, in a system or a way that the display was. So at one point in time, Spock brings up a display and it looks old school enough, but also on our screen. So when it was showing like the different planets, for example, I'm like, I can see them making a display look something like this in the 60s, but it's obviously on, you know, a smart screen, which they didn't have in the 60s, but here we do. So they're making the graphic look like something that you would see then, where it's kind of more simplistic. But I was really fascinated by all of the way that the aesthetics of the ship or how the sounds made it sound like it was just different enough that it wasn't like, you know, what we just watched in Picard.
It was one of the most jarring things about Discovery because that's something they didn't care about. So we knew that Discovery was set 10 years before the original series, and yet, oh my God, this looks more modern than the Enterprise E, like the most recent movie that we have. And they don't have, like, when you do communications on the big view screen, there wasn't any of that. It was actual holograms, and there were no buttons. Everything was touchscreen, and it's like, this is so strange. But they have shifted all the way backwards for Strange New Worlds, and Pike says in Discovery, you know what, I really don't like these holograms. I just want everything to be on a monitor, and I like buttons that I can press, as a way of explaining that maybe the captain has some kind of influence over the design of the ship, and he likes to physically feel things, and he doesn't like holograms. And hey, explain it how you want. The end product, they've done a great job of it. It looks so good. Even the transporter things, they've got the 3 physical things that he pushes up is just like the original series.
Yep. Yeah. With like the little slidey things. Or that the captain's chair is like the only chair. Whereas on other ones, you've got kind of everybody in the middle. This is like...
That chair is perfect.
It looks great.
Almost identical to the original series chair.
I know. I love it so much.
Love it so much. So in terms of the episode itself, like as a story, did it work for you, Aaron, as what you remember of like the Next Generation and being more episodic?
Yeah, I think there's a huge level of difficulty in a pilot to tell a compelling, complete story in your pilot and still introduce everybody in the way that you need to introduce everybody. And I think they did a great job. I think it sets a tone thematically for like what Pike's ship is going to be. It's very Kirk. Pike is very Kirk, very Kirk in a lot of ways, which kind of makes sense continuity-wise too. If Sam Kirk, mustachioed Sam, comes in and is part of that environment, that he would, you know, pass that on. But Kirk has to be a teenager at this point.
No, so Kirk is a cadet at the minute. He's in Starfleet Academy. He's in his 20s. So Sam Kirk is his brother. Not not his father.
So I didn't know that.
Similar. They're similar ages. I mean, he only appears in one episode of the original series. That's it.
That was my question. Was Kirk's father looks really young?
No. So Kirk's really super duper young.
I mean, I love the stash.
You know. It's a choice. It's a choice. No, that is Kirk's brother. Kirk's dad is currently a captain somewhere and or retired or something like that.
Who was Hemsworth in the new?
That's Kirk's dad.
That's Kirk's dad.
Yeah, George Kirk.
Yeah. Okay.
And he. Yeah, obviously dies, but shouldn't. Different timeline.
Different timeline.
Anyway,
different timeline.
I completely agree. Like, I think as a bottle episode of, hey, this is what Star Trek is. It is, and it's what specifically this show is going to be about. Strange New Worlds. Like, there is going to be a heavy influence on meeting new aliens. What does that mean for influencing their culture? When do we interact? When don't we? There's going to be. I mean, it's not an accident that Nurse Chapel is specializing in undercover aliens. Like, there is going to be a lot of that.
I love it so much.
It's so good doing like the anthropology stuff.
Can I just say, I have a crush on all these people, but Nurse Chapel.
Oh my goodness, Jeepers creepers!
I'm going to the chapel and I'm going to get married. Like, this is.
I'm so excited. Sorry to put a little cold water on your hornball right now.
You're good.
I'm so excited because this means that we're going to be seeing really fun prosthetics, and we kind of saw that with the very final alien that beamed onto the ship. Just like this, and that's one of my favorite parts of watching Star Trek is all the different aliens that you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's really, really exciting to me. To bounce off of what you're talking about, I loved the introduction of this of the show, like what was happening with what was the name of the planet again?
Kylie, I think. Planet Kylie.
It was such an interesting start because it's like from the perspective of the aliens that are on,
that was
like
so
looking
clever.
up into the sky to see something. That was a really fun, unexpected sort of perspective shift because you're hearing the first officer's voice from her log over it. So you're thinking it's one way, but it's actually the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it was beautiful.
Yeah. So even if they had to do some shenanigans to make it make sense, I really liked it. And I really like that they pressed the boundaries of rules because I think that's going to make this kind of a fun, like you said, Aaron, sort of setting this tone for what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the series.
He literally said the word "screw General Order 1."
He did. He did.
Put it in the predictions. Screw the Prime Directive.
But he really didn't, though. He really just kind of evolved it. He evolved the Prime Directive based on a individual instance. You know,
I have always had this belief that sadly the only way that we will get a united Earth is when there's something that we need to work together, and that is probably going to be aliens. If it ever happens, it'll be this is suddenly bigger than us, and sadly, it will probably be a combative thing where we need to team up and Michael Bay this, or else we're going to get eradicated.
Didn't this episode kind of touch on that?
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, that's exactly what. It's a great way to unify the planet. But it's like, hey, look at our big spaceship. Ooh.
So
but,
cool.
I mean, they'll explain it however they want to explain it.
So cool, though.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love that ship so much. Nice to get a little bit of backstory on Spock as well. But, I mean, the T'Pring stuff, kind of long fans will know that, yeah, he has a wife and there's a whole story there. But it was nice to spend a little bit of time with it and not
sexy time.
too much. And a little bit of deliberate shift to get Spock doing the sexy stuff.
So I have a question.
Kirk.
When Spock wants to use birth control, does he use a vulcanized rubber?
Oh man. Deneé, tell us how much you love Ethan Peck as Spock.
I love him as Spock.
He's so great. Mm-hmm.
I feel like one of the great things that needs to happen in my life is Vulcan sex. After watching that scene,
okay. Personally, or just to watch?
Like I want to try it, right? Because it was so direct and emotionless, and I'm like, that's really interesting.
This interests me. Just
right?
Very logical. I was like, have you arrived at completion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we shall now depart.
Query.
Yeah, it's just
query. Was that good for you?
So. But seriously, though, the entire kind of glimpse into Vulcan culture, I really enjoyed. Quick question. Is Vulcan gone, though? The planet?
Excellent question. So the movies that you're thinking of where Vulcan got destroyed, different timeline.
Okay.
Didn't happen.
Okay.
So don't worry. Vulcan is there. Vulcan is fine.
Because I was kind of wondering, like, oh, wow, we're seeing a culture that's totally wiped out at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, different timeline.
But on that timeline, it is wiped out. But on...
Yes. Okay. But on this one, it's fine and everything's normal. That didn't happen.
Yeah. So I find that to be something that I love for fans is just getting to go and like look at this culture that we don't get to see very much because it kind of seems like, and maybe this is something I'm looking forward to is sort of a resurgence of an enjoyment of characters that maybe have already been explored a lot for Star Trek fans. Like, oh, we already know a lot about Vulcan because obviously Spock is such a huge character.
Yeah.
But for me, Spock wasn't, like, I of course know who Spock is, and I know the textbook, like, bullet point things that you're supposed to know about Spock, but I don't know that he was married, and I don't know much about Vulcan, and I definitely don't know much about their culture, like, the whole, like, exchanging of the necklace thing and that cool, like, pyramid-looking thing. I'm super fucking into it. How, like, you're wearing your ceremonial garb, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know, so I'm super into it, where maybe others wouldn't be because it's me getting to meet them sort of for the first time in a way. Because I haven't watched a lot of the original series. So I really enjoyed that. And of course I found their relationship fascinating just because it seems a little bit co-op-malite. No, maybe?
Co-op-malite. Yeah. Honesty, absolute candor. Yeah,
absolute candor.
Being completely
just
upfront.
Say it because it's...
And I love that the power seems to be in her court as well. Like she is absolutely wearing the proverbial trousers in that relationship.
So were a lot of women in this episode, and I really enjoyed that a lot. There was another kind of moment that was really reminiscent of like the woman having power and being honored in that when I just forgot her name again. Okay, we're gonna have to come up with new names for people.
Singh.
Singh?
The security chief?
Singh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that who you mean?
Yeah.
The security chief or the wife?
Yeah, when Singh didn't want to be like sedated.
Yeah, so I'm actually respecting that.
Yeah, for that conversation was just like, I trust you know what you're doing. And I'm like, oh God, that was so lacking drama. Thank you for that. So, yeah, so that was all fascinating.
It didn't bite her in the butt. Because that's the cliche is like, are you sure you want to do this? And then she's proven wrong.
Yeah, they didn't really go back on that.
We knew better. Like, nope, it was just she's going to endure it.
Yep. Yeah, so I liked that. But for truly and genuinely, my curiosity of Spock is I'm watching this actor play this part, and I'm thinking, what huge shoes to fill.
And he does it with such confidence as well. He is making his own interpretation of this character. He's not
so good.
Getting bogged down by what Leonard Nimoy did or Zachary Quinto did. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, are they doing like a voice modulator, or is that his voice?
Oh, it's just his voice. Ethan, if you listen to Ethan Peck in interviews, he is that sexy. Like, that voice is gorgeous.
But it's just so incredible, I guess, and inevitable that there is going to be little echoes of certain types of characteristics. Like, you look at Freddie Mercury and what's his name, Aaron?
Mark
Martel, where there's just these parts of us that sort of repeat a little bit. And so to hear such a Spock-like voice come out of someone else, it just gave me chills and I loved it.
It's so great. I love it.
No, I want to cover Uhura.
No.
Okay.
Do it. Hit me with Uhura.
She's I love her so much. I think the definition of Star Trek is her elevator ride with the new alien.
That was so good.
When he said, tag ball? My heart leapt. I was like, that is well, no, it's not the sports thing. It's just like, that is the beauty of you care about us?
Yeah.
I loved that whole elevator ride, that whole thing. And she was a huge part of that because she's so bubbly. She's so fun. I really like her.
She diffused it so well. Yeah. She knew this was an alien in an unknown place that's going to be having a panic attack. She just keeps it super cool and says, hey, do you like baseball? It's so great.
Oh my God, that whole scene was fantastic. When they hop up off of the beds, I was like, oh shit.
Oh fuck. Sedate this one, and then the other one just legs it. It's like, for goodness sake. But I love that it wasn't this, it was a bit tropey, but it got away with it because Dr. Mbenga wasn't concerned. Chapel wasn't concerned because it was like, look, we'll just beam them back. It doesn't matter. Let's just do this in the least traumatizing way possible. But it was such a great little B plot.
It was just so funny.
Fun.
In this casual way where they're like, oh, we've got a Delta B, whatever code it is.
Oh, because this happens so often. They have a code for it. It's so great.
It's like they're literally chasing puppies.
Yes.
It's just like,
go get the puppies.
And then there's
they got out again.
Whatever
you left the gate open, the puppies got out again.
Yeah. And whatever the person's name was that was on the captain's chair at that moment, she's like, he or she, or they, I'm not sure how they identify, but they were like, why does this always happen when I'm in the captain's chair? It was so good. So good.
so great. And that kind of links into one of my favorite things just overall about the show is that it wasn't afraid to have a light-hearted tone. It managed to deal with some super dark stuff that Pike is dealing with, some great allegories to what our planet is currently, or how humans are currently messing up our planet, but also stuck in a light-hearted tone that didn't feel out of place. All of the jokes landed, the little asides, this feels like a crew that has been together for a while, but I don't feel like we're missing out on any of the jokes either. It's so confident with being funny as well as dramatic, which I'm sure is something Aaron liked and I was expecting him to bounce off of, but that's fine.
I was just confirming that the actress identifies as a she. So.
Excellent. Cool.
Thank you.
Jolly good.
Melissa
good to clarify.
Is her name.
But Dr. Mbenga was my standout. So funny. Just so good. I can't wait to see what happens with him in particular.
Can I ask you a question before we move on again about Captain Pike?
Captain Pike, yeah.
How do you feel about Hit It?
I was going to ask this too.
Okay. Hit It is fine. It's okay. Apparently, they all need a phrase. Now, Hit It comes from the J.J. Abrams films, and when Mr. President, who played Pike, what's his name? Give me the name.
What?
He's usually the president of America. Bruce Greenwood. I'll do it on my own. It's fine. He played Pike, didn't he?
Sure.
Greenwood.
Yes.
Yeah?
I've got
right.
Google. I don't remember these things.
Okay.
I look it up.
Anyway, Pike is in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films as well with the Vulcan that's exploded. And that's where he started with Hit It. So it's a carryover from there. So It was weird in 2009. Somehow,
it's okay
because I'm
now?
13 years removed, it's okay.
It's
like
okay
nostalgia's
now, right?
weird.
It's like hit
it's
it.
fine. Hit it is okay.
It's one of those things where the catchphrase thing is interesting because
Picard.
it starts innocently enough, and then it becomes a thing. And then once it's a thing, everybody. So like Doctor Who, for instance, everybody's got to have their like Allons-y or
never was a thing.
Geronimo or whatever it is for the new Doctor Who.
And it accidentally started with Eccleston saying "fantastic."
Right, and then all of a sudden it's a thing. So then it becomes aware of itself. And once it's aware of itself, it just feels a little bit icky sometimes.
It really does.
Yeah.
And Discovery's is the worst because Burnham's is "let's fly."
Yeah.
And I cringe every time she says it because it's so, I need a catchphrase and this is what it's going to be. And blah. Whereas Picard just saying engage is so casual, but that's the genesis of it.
Yeah.
Now every captain needs a warp thing.
Yeah. Get her done. Whatever it's going to be.
Well, I gotta get it, put it in you.
Yes, whatever it is.
I think the last theme that we haven't touched on is Pike dealing with the knowledge of his own mortality. So this is such a great thing that I like that they've latched onto, because this, we know from the original series that is how Pike meets his end. There is a horrible accident that basically makes him wheelchair bound. He can't be a captain anymore, and he has to talk through a machine. Now, Discovery bounced off that, put him with a time crystal that showed him that ending. And now him dealing with that, and how is this going to affect my decisions? Will I be too careless? Will I be too careful? I know I have 10 years, but does that mean I can still die beforehand? Like, that possible future and how that affects him just immediately gives us so much depth to his character.
I have a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of context, and not having Discovery context, maybe not even having the original series context. If you're just watching this, does this feel a little bit like a clever way to do the, I bet you're wondering how I got here? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Like, because if you're only watching this show, this almost feels like a mystery the show's going to solve.
Yes.
You know what
we know. Yeah, we know the ending.
But we already know this mystery. So it's a little bit weird that way, because I can see somebody who's only watching Strange New Worlds, which I don't know who that person is, but I can see the person only watching Strange New Worlds going, oh, what happened? And it's like, well, there's this whole other show that will show you exactly what happened. It's I don't know. I found it interesting.
And it is especially interesting because the goal is, like, this is the show that gets new fans into Trek. Like, this is meant to be just as much for new people as it is for ancient fans.
Yeah.
It is an odd choice. And I hope they find a way to deal with it where it's not like, we know Pike has a shelf life. Like, we know he's, like, the main character very, very rarely gets killed off because you don't have a show without them. But I'm hoping that doesn't take away some of the risk that he feels going into situations, because he may as well just walk around into anything dangerous if he knows that's not where he's going to die. Like, it's fine, let's go. I don't need clothes. I don't need pants. I'll just walk in with a communicator.
And now you see why I don't fear the knowledge. Like, just,
well,
there's freedom and peace there, man. It's just like,
not if it's wrong. Then it's not knowledge. Deneé,
that's what I would say too.
As someone that hasn't watched Discovery and didn't know the context of Pike knowing his own future, was it confusing to you? Was it planted as a mystery, or was it fine? This will be okay. We'll figure it out.
I hope they don't keep showing it to us. Like, we've kind of explored what we need, I think, at this point. They gave us everything that we need to understand that he has this sort of motivation for the rest of the series to explore his mortality and his fate. I like that he has a really kind of serious security officer who's also exploring like life beyond trauma, and that we have an interesting kind of crew set up. There's like the quirky sidekick, the person that's doing the genetic stuff that works in the medical bay, and then we've got like a happy Uhura.
Uhura, yeah, the communications.
God, I've got so many new names to learn.
So many names. Well, Uhura is an old name, but
no, it's new for me.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. Yes, ambassador.
But the trauma part, it's kind of like, in Picard when he's having flashbacks to like, mama, and it's just like, let's not do this a whole lot. We really got hit over the head with it here. I don't need to see anymore, right? Like, what's going to happen is going to happen. I'm here to have the fun in between. It's kind of like his last hurrah, just taking people off and exploring and having a good time and hoping that nobody dies.
Yeah. he's got to. I think I do hope that they deal with it and they give him some peace pretty quickly. It's going to get a little bit old if every single decision is flashbacks to "I'm going to die. Does this matter?"
I really hope that they don't. I really hope that they don't.
I hope they don't do that.
That he sees his melting face in every
single reflection.
He's like Moon Knight, and there's just mirrors everywhere for whatever reason.
This is so. Why is everything so damn reflective? Like, what's going on? Yeah. It is going to come up. But I'm hoping they don't overdo it. This episode did so much. It did it really well. I love the idea that how they got to the warp drive stuff, whatever. But I love the idea that they detected this warp signature, thought, hey, let's go say hi to the people that can now travel the stars. And they've just made a bomb from it instead, because that feels just as likely to me. Like, the thing that's going to get us to the stars is just as likely to kill us as it is anything else.
It almost seems too likely for the way they were talking about it. Like, they were talking about, like, it's the one-off that has never happened. And it almost feels like, I would think that would happen a lot.
Pretty frequently, yep.
Technology will either destroy us or bring us utopia, one of the two.
And it's more than likely going to destroy us more often than not.
Well, now we know your viewpoint.
This is where I sit, sorry. Which is strange considering how much I love Star Trek. My last kind of final thought about the episode was I loved that back and forth on the bridge when they first get to the planet. And they're having that bridge debate of, do we raise the shields? Do we go down there? What do we do? Spock challenging people, Uhura saying something, Pike having the final say. I was back on the bridge of the Enterprise, but like with Captain Picard, and how often they would have those debates. And I was really worried that all of the new Star Trek stuff would be afraid to do that because we think it's boring. And it was like, no, these conversations are what I live for some reason, like that respectful debate of the different viewpoints and then the captain having the final say.
Oh, I completely agree.
That gave me all of the original feels.
Yeah, I love that too, because you're seeing they gave the instinct to the new first officer who becomes the security officer, and everyone had something to say, and it wasn't about everybody agreeing. It's like quick decisions have to be made here.
Yeah.
And everyone's point was valid. You just have to kind of go with what you think. And I agree. I think that there should be more of that. And if we're in an explorative episodic series, we're going to have to see kind of more of people trying to figure out mysteries. It's one of the things I love about TNG too, watching these older episodes with you while they're trying to figure out what's going on. And of course,
they talk it through.
Yeah, they talk it out.
Oh,
and
so nice.
A lot of times they jump to conclusions that are confusing because they're moving the plot forward quickly. And it's like, oh, I don't know how you got there that fast. But at the same time, these are really, really smart people on a fucking spaceship. So it's like, yeah, maybe.
You would hope these are the NASA astronauts.
Yeah.
And yet, and maybe this is for ReSINstance, but and yet, the key moment of the plot is against everything that they say they stand for.
Yes. But true. I did love the Spock is the one quoting regulations. The security officer is the one pushing for shields. And then Pike swoops in and finds some sort of compromise and makes it. Yeah, I'd love it. Made me all of the happiness. Right, final thoughts before we go into ReSInstance's Futile.
We have not talked about the intro of this yet, and
we didn't.
Just have to say it was so fun. Part of me is curious, like these planets and these places that we're seeing, in the intro, are those planets and places that they plan on taking us, or is this just like winks and nods to all these different cool things you're going to see in space? I loved after the textbook like introduction. We're exploring space, blah 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 blah, and then the music starts and like new and old at the same time, and it was so beautiful to look at. And it was like spaceship porn mixed with like space planet porn, and I was
close-ups
so
on
excited.
Nacelles. Those nacelles were filthy. They were just pulsing in red. It was so good. And the little like the synthy ooh at the very end was so good. It's not afraid to be a little bit retro and a little bit bit cheesy and still feeling the future.
Well, where's its references on its sleeve, and that's totally fine. Like that's why it's here. I mean, it's
I loved the intro so much. There was like a little pre-intro kind of thing.
Yeah, that just showed the ship zipping around the Delta.
Yeah.
I think that's their new like Star Trek
Marvel thing.
Marvel logo, Star Wars.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that
Stop
before.
No, I mean, they have one of those for Star Wars too. I'm just saying.
I said, what is this the more you know looking Star Trek thing? Because it had like the rainbow going on. The more you know about Star Trek.
So good. So good. I love it. I think the more Star Trek does that, the better. They're clearly doing this shared universe thing as well. But yeah, love it. It gave me all of the cheesy nostalgia. It did.
It was a good intro.
So good. I don't think I'll be skipping it anytime soon. It's so pretty. That ship, man.
It's so good.
That ship design.
Speaking of pretty, that salt and pepper beard. Wanted to mention that.
I want it.
Loved the beard.
Long hair.
Best uniform I've ever seen. That white uniform with like the little almost black accents. Chapel's uniform.
Oh, Chapel's uniform?
Oh
yes.
my goodness, I love that. Now that's not I'm a monochromatic. Like that's my favorite thing. But that
Really
white uniform.
She has like kind of like that white hair.
Yes,
and like,
she's got white. Oh,
yeah. What a character.
Yeah,
so good.
I love that character.
On the uniforms, really quickly, I love the updated original series uniform. It looks nothing like the Cage. It is totally departed from the pilot. They wore like fluffy jumpers. It was like fluffy sweaters. They look so strange, but love this uniform. And in particular, the transporter chiefs like red zip up uniform thing was so with the black accents on it. I love that. They're always getting good uniform designs.
I love it when a show will give me a quote that I don't remember ever hearing that I will use in my life forever. And when elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers.
So good.
Man, that is good. Like that is chills good. And I know I'm sure it's a famous proverb. I'm sure I've just missed it in my life, but that's good stuff right there.
But there was a lot of references to Kenya, so I wonder if it's a famous Kenyan phrase. It's so good. It's so true.
Yeah.
Was that everything from everyone? Are we ready to sin the shit out of something we love?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Battle stations, everyone.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains to remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, even perfect pilots like this one. Commodore.
Yeah.
You first. Sin
oh my
it.
goodness.
Your
So
debut
do we go
wherever
one
you
by
want to go,
one, or do I just go through my litany?
We do it one by one. We do like a round robin. Have you listened to the show?
I have, but I just know I love it. I don't remember like paying attention to the structure, which is a good sign. It's like the best scores in movies are the ones you don't realize what they're doing.
I like it.
So, yeah, covered that well.
Yeah, nice.
So I think my first thing I would mention is probably the nobody dies pep speech. Like, why? Like, this is such a weird thing to say to your crew. Like, I mean, explain it for me, please.
Yes,
like,
it is, but everybody knew that. Like the
it feels to me like the man doth protest too much. Like, you know, if you're coming on the comm to tell me none of us are gonna die,
I feel like one of us is gonna die.
One of us is maybe gonna die.
So Ortega, the person that was in the captain's chair, she looks over her shoulder, gives him a nod. Spock gives him all kinds of funny looks, and then immediately comes to visit him. It was deliberately weird. Like, everybody knew that speech was weird because Pike is dealing with, I really hope I don't die on this mission.
Right.
Or I know I'm going to die, and I think it was deliberately over the top. But yeah, it was a weird speech, but I'm sure it was
probably
deliberate.
Right. For whatever reason, I took it as sincere.
Yeah.
Like, I took it that the show wanted us to get goosebumps on that. And I was just like,
I made a note
I
of
didn't get that either.
Okay,
no.
good. That's just me then.
I got that was kind of related to his trauma. Like, he's like, okay,
exactly.
we're not dying today. And what he really meant was himself not dying because he knows when he's going to die.
Yeah, right? Deneé, Ambassador, what's your first sin?
My first sin was if Captain Pike doesn't get off this horse and have snot glued to his mustache and his beard, because that just happens when you're in snow and you're just like running through the tundra or whatever in a snowstorm. You will be snotty and it will be incredibly icicled to your beard, and if we don't see that, then this is just all bullshit. So I mean, it was just we needed to see some crust, and there wasn't any.
That's true. You'll get congested. You'll get a red face. You will not be coming off of that horse ready for a conversation.
No. You have to be like, give me a minute, and then you have to like kind of like put your face, tuck it inside your clothing, and try to warm up your snot. You know, get it out of your beard.
Get the icicles off.
Dress yourself a little bit up, and then you can go talk to your superior.
Beautiful beard. Beautiful beard. It's a holographic beard. That's why it's hiding everything.
It's false. Yeah, it's hiding his emotion and his snot.
Oh man, that cuts deep. On the horse thing, I know the show acknowledges it. I know he says you spooked my horse, but God damn it, you spooked his horse. Like, what a dick coming in with the shuttlecraft.
I thought,
and
can I tell
landing.
you what I thought? I thought it was the woman he was with coming back because she forgot something. Like, I thought it was like, I was like, how dare you, like, stop him on his horse ride because you wanted, one last, moment or something. I don't know. I was surprised.
What a dick move.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they say it's a dick move, but it's still a dick move. Like, park that ship way the fuck out. Or better yet, beam down. You have transporters. We have the technology. We do not have to spook the horse.
Yeah.
Can I just say before we move on regarding the scene at the very beginning, like you've got Captain Pike and you've got like a woman in bed. To make her equally powerful and she's like, see you in a month, maybe. Cool. Have a nice time. It's good to see you. Like, it just this powerful dynamic where she's not sort of this puny woman that's like, oh, please don't go off, Captain Pike. I love you.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
wasn't
like,
a James Bond thing where you've got the woman in the bed that he's just conquered. It was
another
I'm here. Maybe see you
powerful
later.
woman character. And I was just, man, I really like this. I like this episode a lot.
I love it. Yeah, I love the way they're going with that. Aaron, next one.
Although this isn't my next one, but it did make you laugh, so I thought I'd mention it. I did start our viewing experience when it said, Bear Creek, Montana, and I just said, that's a really stupid planet name.
That would be a fun sin. That's one of the fun sins that we would do, right?
As opposed to Bear Creek Romulus.
Yeah.
This is probably the thing that annoyed me the most. Like, I think for me is probably the most sinful is, yes, it was cute. Yes, it's funny they had a code name for the puppies have escaped. How are the doors not
Lock
locked?
the damn doors.
How do they wake up at the same time? How, like, have you totally misgauged
all of this?
It's like severe incompetence. It was fun. It was cute. But at the end of the day, if all of this is happening, you don't deserve your jobs.
Nope.
Like, it's terrible.
Who's in charge of locking the damn doors? That was a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
I know it's Deneé's turn next, but it links to that so well. This does break something we know about technology from this period. The transporters aren't, at this stage in Trek history, supposed to be used internally. So they are long distance things, and if you do it over short distances, it's like the TARDIS. It's really unpredictable, and there's no guarantee that you won't be inside a bulkhead. So you wouldn't do it that
flippantly, for sure.
You wouldn't just be like, I know it's an emergency, but they were using it in an emergency. Like, if we don't do this, we lose the ship. And they only do it once in the original series.
Not to capture the puppies.
Not to capture the puppies that have escaped, that you could just manhandle or person handle back to the alien handle back to the sickbay. So it was an interesting choice that transporters can literally do whatever they want them to do in this series. But fine. MacGuffin. Deneé.
I don't really have anything in that moment to kind of bounce off of, so I'm just going to go back to my notes and say,
go for it.
Yeah, super smart. Let's just skip over the routine maintenance check before launching into fucking space.
I was waiting for that to backfire. I was like, sorry, we beamed them into each other.
I wonder if it'll come up later, right? Like, I hope they do a little wink and nod back over to that, because that was fucking dumb.
There always has to be that contrived thing of, we need to leave right now, and there has to be a consequence, even though the consequence is never actually a consequence.
So maybe I'll ask this now because I think it kind of plays into the same playground, and you would be able to help me out here. But is it weird to you that he just met but like on this trip met the doctor 3 days into the mission or whatever? Like, shouldn't he meet all his crew like before they take off?
When did he just meet the doctor?
So he goes into me and he gives him like a big,
good to see you again.
Good to see you. And it's like, shouldn't that have happened 3 days ago when you launched? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's your major crew.
The only reason I would give that a pass is because he already knows him. So it's not like this is a new crew member. But you would still think on the first day he would do a little tour. I was going to say, that makes it even a little weirder, right? If you're like best buds with the guy and he's coming on your ship, you're going to hang out. Like... Yep, I'll give you that. I think that's fair. Yeah, maybe not all 300 crew members, but your chief medical officer.
Right,
yes, perhaps. But I'm going to remove us in because I love that everybody has defined roles. Because on Discovery, we don't know who the chief medical officer is. We barely know who the chief engineer is, really. But here is such a format of you, and you. This is who I'm going to be calling on.
Yeah.
I know that person is going to be at the transporter room doing some funky transporter shit that I'm going to love at some point.
Yeah.
I think that's my sin. Yeah. So many candles in Spock's love den.
Oh my god, I have that too.
So many fucking candles.
So many candles.
All of the so inefficient. Like, Vulcans love efficiency and query. Why so many candles?
Yeah, can you imagine the conversation? These are all going to blow out anyway. What is the purpose of this?
Exactly, and yet somebody did it. It's crazy, absolutely bonkers, Aaron.
It is absolutely bonkers too, for the fact that like the candles in those situations are supposed to enhance like romance and emotion and those kind of the exact things that they don't need in that situation.
They're like, would you like to burn wax?
Yeah, maybe. I imagine that there is like a special, it's a high candle that's like got tons of drugs in it that's just making them super high. Yeah.
Okay, so the other huge section of convenience for me was the genetic transformation. I have so many questions about this.
Yeah.
Primary among them, sure is super convenient for tension that one of the species is going to run out sooner. Oh no. Like that kind of stuff is always,
added drama,
convenient plot device kind of stuff. But also there's stuff like, so why didn't Kirk and Spock and TOS ever use this? Ever?
I have
on the
a
ship.
theory.
Okay.
Because I noted that straight away because I was like, this isn't how they do it in the original series. It's not how they do it in TNG. I think we're doing a prequel thing here, like the Spore Drive, where this is so unstable and it's going to fuck up so much they have to stop using it. So this is experimental. They use it for Pike, and then by the end of the series, they're just like, this has killed so many people. We need to stop using it. This is a bad idea. We're just going to use prosthetics from now on.
Whoever the Aaron Brockovich of the Star Trek universe is going to take him to court.
No more. We're done.
She has that mad scientist vibe to her, where she's just kind of like cuckoo-y enough that I'm wondering if the same thing. I was like, oh, this is really fun and convenient, but I wonder if this is going to have a pretty big backfire situation.
I think it has to. And I think they will definitely acknowledge that. You'll love this about this character, Deneé. Nurse Chapel is in the original series and is played by Majel Barrett, who is Deanna Troy's mother.
Oh my God.
So this is her character in the original series, but she's criminally underused as... did I get that right? Wait, let me double check.
Well, let me tell you, Ian, actually, Troy's...
It is, relief, my heart. It is Majel Barrett. She's criminally underused in the original series as just McCoy's go-to. And there's almost like a pat on the bum, go make me a cup of tea element to her until much, much, much later in the series. So the fact that she's front and center now is so fun. So good.
The one final question in that section, as it directly relates to all that stuff. Did I see wrong? Or as soon as they injected hers started immediately? But Pike had it for 5 minutes.
I think it was the sedation thing, right?
Wasn't that the sedation slowed it down and made it a more gradual process, whereas hers was just bam, you're changing. But yeah, cinnable. I still think it's cinnable. My last bit on that, because the entire thing is ridiculous, is stop joking about my genome. She's so lighthearted about it. This is gonna hurt. Don't get any X-rays. It's just gonna move around some organs. I was like, stop it.
But I think that's part of her quirky, mad scientistness, right? Where she sees all of us as something that she can fuck with.
I love it. Yeah, I loved it. But
Aaron,
Pike should be stop it with this nonsense.
I think I would sin the moment that Captain Pike says, I'm all ears, and Spock looks confused, because that's not the first time that Captain Pike has ever said that in all of their relationship.
It's not the first time in Spock's career that will have happened. In the Academy, when he was an ensign, he's been in Starfleet for 15 years or something.
He's heard that before.
He absolutely has had all of the ear jokes. He should have punched Pike immediately.
I didn't get the impression that was supposedly against Spock as much as he was just saying, I'm all ears. Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Either way, it seemed that Spock was confused about the colloquialism
of it. Yeah.
Did I say that right, Aaron?
You did. You nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I was about to sin that thank goodness the Vulcan neck pinch works on aliens, and then he just goes and said it, and I was like, you know what, you're lucky that worked. I was like, yeah, but still worked.
Doesn't quite excuse it. No. Shows think they could do that, and you really can't, Nemo. You really can't.
No, you really can't. I have one last one, and we need to hit it. What I did there. Reverse engineering a warp bomb from visual images of spaceships. What?
I mean, come on.
How do you even know what the propulsion is? what are you looking at? Like, the scanning technology needed to do that is far beyond anything you would need to create a warp drive. Like,
it's similar to me saying I was spying on, the woman across the street with my binoculars and now she's pregnant. Like,
yes, I made one. I made a woman because I looked at her. It's like, so baffling
it's
to me.
So ridiculous. There's
it's
no
so
way.
contrived. I love the idea that this massive galactic event was witnessed by lots of people, and that was an unknown side effect. But nonsense did you re-engineer that? I refuse. Kindly. Anything else, my lovely crew?
Oh, yeah. I've got a few more. Boy, I love in movies how those PowerPoint technicians are on the ball. Like, within seconds of him deciding to go down to present what
montage.
Earth has gone through. They have the perfect PowerPoint all set up for him, ready for their systems, whatever their primitive systems are. We've got it. It's going to broadcast right onto it.
We just airdropped it down there. It's absolutely fine.
The most underrated profession in movie professions is the PowerPoint technician.
Mm-hmm. Whoever did that Genesis thing as well in the Wrath of Khan.
So good. So good.
Deneé.
I think you guys already talked about beaming the thingy into the eye to make it work.
Oh, no, we didn't. But beaming the booster directly into him and it working immediately was dumb.
Very confused by that.
Yeah, that was weird.
But I felt like that was like okay, sure.
Let's move it along. Let's get the plot going.
So I wasn't really entirely sure how that would work. So I would probably do a sort of a sin.
I have one more actual sin, I think, and then a joke. But the
I love that you're prefacing it, so we're prepared. Prepared to laugh tonight.
The actual sin I've already talked about a little bit, which is the whole "I have the biggest stick" moment is completely counter to everything he's trying to teach them. So it's like it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, but now are you saying that? That
violence is the way,
right,
as a deterrent.
Assured mutual destruction or whatever the phrase is. Is actually the way. So I think there's an actual sin there about about that.
You're all high and mighty until you have the bigger stick, and it's to your advantage.
Right? Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's either that or he literally solves world war through words. Like eventually, you need a bigger stick. Yeah. It seems like, but it is kind of counterintuitive.
And then the joke was, I just thought it would be funny during the scene at the end where the new alien race is learning about everything. It's like this montage of them learning all these things, and there's one of a professor who's got a chart of the Enterprise, and it's got all the alien language. I just thought it would be funny if you put like subtitles for all those alien language parts of the Enterprise, and they just said weakest spot, can destroy here.
Oh no!
All of a sudden you realize the professor is teaching the class how to take down the Enterprise.
Oh no! And the bits on like Spock's diagram is shoot him here.
Yes, exactly.
Remove ears.
Yes. Fatal organ here. Yeah.
That is so dark. That's amazing. I mean, the only thing that was missing from the montage was like a shot of Rick and Morty, like cartoon.
Right.
Here is their popular media, and Rick and Morty appears. I was like, nope, don't do it.
There you go.
Amazing. Okay, unless we have anything else.
My final one was just the idea that Captain Pike was like, you can war with each other, or you can join the Federation of Planets. And I was like, can't you do both?
Yeah. I mean,
why not?
In theory, eventually, but you'll get kicked out.
Well, I mean,
the Federation won't let anyone in that is having a civil war. You have to sort out your own shit before you're allowed in.
Exactly. The strongest survives, and then they join. So it just seems like maybe they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm still going to kill him, and then we'll join you later.
So what you're saying is that none of them are trying hard enough to kill the others.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
You've really got to knuckle down and get to that genocide.
Oh, I have a question. I just the communicator, they call it a phone.
Yeah,
is that normal?
No. Are you going to pick up the fact it's a colloquialism, but it's never been called a phone.
Okay, I just wondered if since we're going back further in time, they're indicating like they were probably called phones for a while.
No, we're like still 200 years removed from telephones. Like, as in, it should be like us calling it.
But we call our mobile computers phones. So
what would it be like? It would be like us calling a radio, whatever radios used to be called, the
transmitters.
No, the
transmitter.
Oh gosh, dang it! Transmitter. The wireless. Listening to the wireless, like gathering around the wireless. If we called our radios now a wireless, you probably wouldn't. Like, it's so far removed.
I don't know. The telephone's been invented for a long time, and we still call these devices phones, and they really aren't.
Maybe
I kind of liked it because I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, I thought it was like a transition because they didn't do it beyond that. It was a called communicator after that, but they did call it a phone, which I thought was kind of fun.
Archer had the same things, and that's at least 100 years removed, and he never called it a phone. But it's a fun thing that they're doing. They don't have to be limited by what's been done.
While we're talking about that, I really like that little chirping noise that it was making. I want that to be my ringtone now.
In my soul. I'm sure that
can happen.
We can
make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I love that chirp so much. The only nitpick I would have is that the one in the original series goes on for about 36 minutes each time. Like, as soon as he flips it open, he goes, chip, 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 Kirk to chip, 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 Enterprise, chip, 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 chip. It goes on for so long. I love it so much. But that's fine. It's impractical. Okay, with that, let's head to our final stop briefly to the Captain's Ready Room. Welcome to the Captain's Ready Room, where we will hear our predictions for the rest of the season and bask in our time crystal-like glory if anything we've previously predicted has come true.
Well done.
It's probably going to be a bit short due to the episodic nature.
Yeah. What are we supposed to predict?
Well, we may only do it this week, but I have one big prediction, and that is that the Gorn are going to be the big bads, because it can't really be the Klingons, because we've done them to death. Discovery did them. I think they need to lean into something we know that we haven't seen, and we haven't seen a lot of the Gorn. There's one other race, I'm going to be so nerdy, the Senkethi, who have been mentioned a lot in the original series. We only saw them on screen once, and they sometimes team up with the Gorn. So, and that is an insect species and a reptile species, something that's like totally different to the usual humanoids with stuff on their heads. So I think there's a really cool way that there's some kind of team up, and if you're going to have a big bad in the series that keeps popping up and causing problems, I would love it to be one of those two. That's pretty much my big prediction for the series.
I have an anti-prediction. Have you ever done an anti-prediction?
I don't know that you know how this segment works.
No, I don't. I'm completely changing it. So no, an anti-prediction is where you predict something so that it won't happen. Okay. It's like you jinx it, like you don't want it to happen, so you just put it out there. And
makes sense.
So I'm anti-predicting a love triangle with Spock, Uhura, and Spock's wife.
I have too much knowledge to talk to you about that.
Oh no!
I know stuff that I can't talk about. So yes,
Fine.
Deneé,
fine.
Any predictions?
Well, I wanted to bounce off what you said about the Gorn. I think that's really wise because they gave so many moments to talking about it, and they went into kind of the severe psychological damage and just like the horrors of people. I think they even said there were some people that were flayed.
Oh my god! And they were getting split open and used for like birthing
pods
sacks.
or something like that.
Incredibly vicious.
So I think that's really, really wise. And then of course we also predicted that the science officer or the medical officer might be a little bit of a cuckoo bananas sort of genetics person. And possibly
pushing things to the edge.
Yeah, possibly be doing something that has negative effects on the crew in this series. So I think that should probably go here in the prediction section too. But I really don't have anything else. Oh gosh, hey, I'm gonna predict that Captain Pike is exposed to a lot of radiation and turns kind of into a Pizza the Hut kind of guy.
That's ridiculous.
His face sort of melts.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I predict
an out there prediction.
I predict that eventually the Enterprise will have a different captain. Something like a Jim feels right. It feels like the right sort of thing.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't see it, but
no.
Can't imagine someone named Jim captaining the ship. That seems ridiculous.
Damn it.
I'm gonna have one final prediction, which is that the captain's clothing will eventually be red.
Not in broke my brain. Not in this. Not unless he gets demoted or changes career path.
I know it's confusing, but
I predict we will see Anson Mount shirtless at some point. He's going to get naked.
I really wish the name wasn't Mount.
Anson Mount. Oof.
Every time, I'm just like, what?
Just makes me quiver. Okay, well, I'm over the moon that you guys enjoyed it. I'm over the moon that I enjoyed it. I think this is going to be a great, great ride. We've got 9 more episodes to see if they can fuck it up, but I'm confident that we're going to have a good show. I'm feeling good.
How do they do that? How do they mess it up?
We're in predictions. Might as well.
Yeah, make your anti-prediction here.
Oh, how do
they won't mess it up?
It's boring. Like, if we have these episodic stories that we've kind of seen before and they lean on the same tropes and it's nothing like I want them to do the old stuff and be original as well. There are plenty of stories to tell. And I hope they don't feel the need to do the serialized thing, like you said, where even if we get to like season 3 and then they're like, well, we've run out of ideas, we now need a big war that's going to take up season 3. It's a risky biscuit.
Who's the mole?
Is there a mole this time?
This is what I'm saying. Like this.
There's always a mole, isn't there?
I mean, so far, there's usually one person who's reporting to somebody else about something.
It's the person that just beamed in at the very end. It's Santana guy.
Yeah, the Andorian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, thanks for listening, everyone. It is Hit It from me. It's...
I used the loophole from me.
And from Aaron.
There's a Gorn in my booth.
God, I hope not. That sounds awful. That's a bad day, man.
That's a bad day. That's really bad. Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening. Want to connect with the show? Our hailing frequencies are always open through captainspod@cinemasins.com. Like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast player of choice, and be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
How weird is it for you to be in that chair?
I love it in this chair.
Yeah? Why is that? Is it the low pressure?
Yeah, I genuinely love being on other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
This is the first time, because you refuse to come onto English Irish.
Well, I have a number. I have a certain download number that has to be reached.
I have drank the Dicer household out of milk completely. So we are struggling with English tea that is no milk.
When we had all 4 boys at home, we went through 3 to 4 gallons of milk a week.
How many gallons is a pint for the English among us? How many pints in... Because I think gallons are bigger. Oh, you are kidding. Wait, how many?
3 to 4 gallons. Yeah. We would get 4, and then if we had enough left over, we'd get 3 the next week.
That's 24 pints.
I mean, that means less to me than 3 to 4 gallons, but yes, yeah.
But 24 is a big number.
It is a bigger number. It'd be even bigger if it were 24 gallons.
Yes. Come do the 2-step. Boo-doo-doo.
It's a 2-step and the cowboy boogie and the free horse, and you slow down with it, and the good Lord said, come in, chicken in the...
Free horse?
I don't know.
That's weird. Right.
I just said syllables that sounded like what I thought I heard.
Oh, that's not actually the word?
No, I have no idea what the words are.
Is that you?
Yes, Deneé.
Where's your fucking face, dude?
Well, interesting problem. We've had a slight malfunction with the transporters. Only his voice has been transported. I have his voice box in a jar, and it's currently in my pocket.
Bad news, my new uniform for season 3 didn't come in time.
Oh, no.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You didn't know?
There's going to be a uniform? We're changing uniform?
Yeah.
I thought
Deneé
so.
and I ordered ours already.
Yeah.
I thought that those approvals had to go through the captain.
Well, it did. You don't remember that?
That's funny.
Was I asleep again?
No, your eyes were open and you had a little device on
asleep.
you had a device on your face and it was beaming things into your eyes when you signed it.
Oh, awkward. Okay, so I may not have been in my right mind.
No, we did that on purpose. You were in the captain's chair at the time, and so that's when we pulled the long con on you.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
All right, so visually, are we going to establish our seating chart? Because now that we have, a new member.
Yeah, I'm imagining that, I kind of imagine Aaron as the computer voice. So you're sat next to me in like that little weird chair that Beverly will sometimes sit on the bridge. It's not like
Deanna
one of the
and
main...
Beverly's chair, right?
No, Deanna has a proper chair, like next to Picard. But then there's one
The
like
stool?
kind of little stool thing that's at the edge of the thing. That's where you sit, Deneé.
Wait, hold on a second. I thought you were going to say Aaron sits there.
No, that's where you sit. And Aaron is the computer voice that will just like kind of sassily chirp in with puns and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
But he has his own like office where he's monitoring everything for puns. It's just he's not actually located in the bridge.
No, that seems really harsh.
It's like, we go to a restroom, a bathroom, when we need to expel excretion, and that's how puns are seen in the humor world. So I have to have a pun room actually go make them so that I'm not embarrassing everyone.
So there is a door that we never go into on the bridge, and canonically it is the bathroom for the bridge officers. So that's where you are.
He can't be in the bathroom. That's just rude.
No. It's called a pun room. It's called a pun room. Yeah. It's totally different. Yeah. Yep.
For the expelling of puns?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the excreting of puns. Yeah.
Here's my number 2.
Exactly. See, he belongs in the pun room too.
We're going to do a very quick Trek or Triction.
Wait, Trek or Triction? Hold on.
What? Did you not remember the title change?
That is, I remember now, and it's a terrible title. I thought it was a joke. I didn't know it was going to stick. That's a terrible title change. It was such a great pun to begin with.
Trek or Triction.
All right.
It's staying.
Okay.
I mean, it'll pick up some traction eventually. We are shifting crews, Deneé. We are now on the original crew. This is Captain Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and what happens in this adventure is we find out that Spock bear with me, has a brother that no one's ever known about. His friends of 30 years. His mother doesn't know about this brother either.
Okay, can we just pause here and can you explain how Vulcans procreate?
As we do. Okay. So it's a different mother, half brother.
Oh, okay.
So Spock knows about him. He disappears.
His name is Speck.
His name is not Speck. His name is Cybok, and he left Vulcan to find the Vulcan Jesus, who was in the middle of the galaxy, and kidnaps the Enterprise because it's the only ship that can get to the middle of the galaxy.
Like the only ship ever, or the only ship near him?
It's the only ship that's both. It happens to be both. It's the only one that's near and the only one that can do it for reasons. Other than a Klingon bird of prey that can also go in and causes shenanigans with them as well. So the bird of prey is like, kind of wants a bit of target practice and wants honor and stuff. So they follow, but nobody notices because Klingons. The rest of the crew, in the meantime, Scotty is out for a good chunk of the movie because he falls down.
Movie or show?
Movie. We're going to say movie. I'll give you that. And Scotty falls down, gets unconscious, and Uhura tries to make out with him.
An unconscious person?
He's just about unconscious, and then Uhura tries something, and Scotty's like, "No, there's no time for this. We can't do this." So instead, she does a naked dance on a sand planet, while singing a song and flattering feathers around to distract some sand people. While Kirk and Spock steal some horses. That happens before the ship is taken. And then eventually they get to God, but God is an alien, and everyone goes home.
I feel pretty confident this is real. This is Trek.
This is Trek. This is Trek.
What gave it away?
I gave myself away. I need to work on it.
Wait.
I went in blind.
What? What do you mean? What gave it away?
Well, he called it a movie.
I called it a movie instead of a show.
He's thinking of something specific.
But see, he takes real things and messes them up. So even if he was pulling from a movie, he could.
So what I usually do is I will pull from an actual episode of Star Trek, but I will change so much that just a kernel is there.
Man,
but all of the details are different.
That wouldn't fly with the Gaming Commission here in the U.S.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, because then it'd have to either be all false or all true. It's pretty much, because then it's subjective where that needle is, where it's
no, the way I do it is not subjective. Like, it is clearly wrong.
But if there's one part of it that's true, then the person can be like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah, and then you got to work out, like,
and then they're wrong.
It's not even true. So I would, like, for example, somebody would be sick, but I would change what the disease is. So that's as the kernel of truth, and then it goes off the rails from there.
Okay, all right. Hey, it's your
my
game.
It's
your game. You can name it whatever you want and play it however you want.
I think Aaron's going to last long on this crew, to be honest. He's going to the brig.
There were several things there that I was like, when you said horses, I was like, this is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, what? Why? Why did horses make it seem real?
Because it was so out of left field, it had to be correct. Like,
it's wild, the stuff that you latch on to.
Captain?
Yes.
Can the replicator make anything, or does it have to be like specific dimensions?
No, it has to fit. So you can have industrial replicators that will make big fuck off things. But on the ship, yeah, it has to fit inside the cubby hole, or like kind of, if you wanted to replicate, you could replicate a sword or something, or you'd have to 3D print it in components. It has to fit inside the cubby hole.
Okay.
Why? What are you trying to replicate? What does the computer say?
Nothing.
What would your browser history be on your replicator?
Oh my God. That would be such an interesting episode of Star Trek.
It really would.
Wouldn't it? Going around
People's
and trying to figure out.
Gets,
Replicator history becomes public.
And
everybody's dealing with the things that everybody else is actually replicating.
What if it was like a murder mystery and somebody printed things that they weren't supposed to print and it was actually part of a murder weapon, but they had like printed little pieces of it and then in between other things to try to like.
I don't think that's been done. No, I don't think that's
like a
happened.
Murder mystery?
Yeah, as in a murder mystery. There's been plenty of murder mysteries, but not where they've replicated different pieces to make a weapon.
Yeah. At the very beginning, you'd have this person would come in and say, "Do we have a larger replicator somewhere on board?"
Why do you ask? No reason.
No reason.
I'm not murdering anybody.
But that's like the red herring. So that was genuinely just like that person just wants to make a really big sheet cake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Instead of like an individual slice, they want to do the old school party in 10 forward. They would
the Captain Picard day.
Researching like ancient traditions. Like, you know what we haven't done in a long time? We haven't decorated a cake in a while, so we're gonna do that. Make it personal.
It's a Klingon one, so it has to be huge and wiggly.
Are the Klingon ones huge and wiggly?
They tend to be.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have 2 of them often.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's canonically true. My favourite murder weapon in all of Star Trek.
Oh, let's guess.
No,
wait, hold on. Let's guess.
Okay, guess.
Aaron,
I don't know if we talked about this, Deneé.
Aaron, you guess favorite murder weapon.
In all of Trek history?
Yeah. In terms of ingenuity.
Death Star.
Comm badge.
And Q-Snap. Wow. Are you going to do this the whole time? Because the listeners aren't going to enjoy this either.
Oh, some of them will. Some of them will. It'd probably be some form of using the replicator as a murder weapon.
So, I mean, no, it's not that. Right. It's not that. Deneé, your guess.
Comm badge.
Oh, man. I mean, Elnor did do that. Yep. Elnor's just going to murder people with a comm badge. But no, not that. But that is quite ingenious.
Murder weapon. Does it have to deal with a shuttle bay?
Nope. Oh. No, although, again, has been used as a weapon.
The captain's chair.
To my knowledge, never used as a weapon. Other than just making Picard look like an absolute boss.
It has to be Worf's Klingon.
The Batleth? That is the prettiest weapon, for sure. But not the most ingenious. It's just a blade.
Oh, it's got to be ingenious.
Yeah, this is specifically the my favourite, most ingenious Star Trek weapon.
Klingons use Batman's weapons? I'm confused. You said it was like the
Batleth.
The Batarang?
Batleth. Wow. Good. Get off my ship. Any other guesses from Deneé specifically, not Aaron? Aaron is not welcome to this game.
Ingenious. Was it transporter murder?
Yes. However, not just the transporter, because you can do anything. You can beam them into space. This is a specific transporter thing that happened.
Well, go on.
Transported into the mouth of a whale.
Not yet. Not happened.
They call that the Jonah.
Yep. The Jonah maneuver. How could you use a transporter to ingeniously murder somebody?
So many ways.
So many ways. Like, your arm is just beamed inside yourself.
Right,
like, there's so many different ways to do it. All of your organs are outside first.
I have beamed your thumb into your throat.
Yes, exactly. I've beamed this hammer inside you.
I feel like it would be like eternal beaming. Like you never actually arrive. You're just existing entirely inside the beam.
That's terrifying and has happened, to my knowledge, on 2 separate occasions in Star Trek.
Is that not considered, was it purposeful murder?
So in one of them, it was deliberate. So Scotty and some crew members knew that they weren't going to be rescued for a long, long time. So he hides them in the transporter buffer and puts it on a diagnostic loop, and that keeps the signals going. But it only works on him. It kills everyone else.
Oh my God.
Dark.
Oh shit. Okay, you have to tell me more directly because that's the best I can do.
So, it is, in this occasion, an energy weapon couldn't be used because the ship's sensors would have detected it. So this is a mechanical gun that fires a bullet, but it has a little transporter thing built in. So when they click to fire, it beams the bullet out of the gun and in front of the destination, and then propels it into the person that you're aiming at. So it has a little scanner on it so you can see through walls. You fires the bullet gets transported a centimetre away from the target, and then carries on its trajectory.
Just wait, but
So you don't know where the bullet came from.
But why not just transport it right into the brain? Why transfer it?
Why use the gun?
Why use the gun at
I
all?
don't
That makes
know.
no sense. Just hold a bullet and have the transporter put it in somebody's brain. This is not hard.
It's great. It's incredible.
I have to take a stand as an avid listener to the podcast against this. Oh, I would have predicted nonsense.
Oh, no,
okay,
come
listen.
on.
No, listen to me. If you would have predicted, then you would have predicted.
But it was
you did not
down.
predict it. And if it's not in the I'm just listen, here's the thing, because you also said something during the episode about how like the message boards or fans were like, well, Wesley's not going to be in it because such and such. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So I think in your brain you're like, well, I can't predict that because I know that
I
he's
dismissed
probably
it.
not going to be.
I dismissed it because it seemed so dumb.
Yeah.
That's why I eventually didn't do it. So the prediction was still there, but I dismissed it as a prediction. It's Schrodinger's crusher.
It was a seed that never bloomed. So, but listen, I want to give you all the credit for all the predictions you did get. So we have to take away the ones you actually didn't get.
Whereas the ones I did get mean less.
No, they mean more. They mean more.
No, but if I include the one that doesn't count, it makes the others mean
Correct.
less.
That's what I'm saying.
Ambassador, I don't like him.
Sorry,
what you are?
Captain.
You're Spock. You are absolutely Spock on this shit. Just here to shit on my parade.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to go? We
Yeah.
can do
Yeah,
this.
ready.
Absolutely.
Okay. Waha.
Whoa.
Captain. Captain's pod. Stardate 30. There's two of them now. Okay, power through.
I just wanted to try it once. That's all. It'll never happen again.
Whoa. Okay, so.
Hey, Captain. While we're on our way to battle stations, which I realize is just a button to push, can I just say that horse was so cute? Okay.
I forgot to talk about the horse.
Oh my God.
Danae, how much did you love that freaking horse?
I was so happy. Because like while he's talking to the guy on the shuttle, like they're like snuggle bussing, and I'm like, oh my God.
Give me the horse. Oh,
I
man.
loved it so much. I had to. I even wrote in my notes, this horse is so cute, KEWT.
Star Trek started with oh no, I am going to
William Shatner.
No. Thank you.
Gene Roddenberry.
Star Trek
Stop it.
began with an idea.
Stop. It did begin with an idea.
Nimoy.
Stop it.
Oh my God. Can we tell that story super quick? I know this is a derailment moment and you're probably going to shove it in the outtakes, but I promise it'll be quick.
I may have to put it in the outtakes.
Okay.
Oh, no, I won't. No, it's fine. Yeah, do it.
Can I tell the story real quick? Is that okay?
Tell the story. Do it.
Okay. So we had somebody in our videos for CinemaSins and they misspelled Worf. And so Ian was pointing out that it needed to be corrected. And so
It's a kind way to put it.
Ian and I were
I
talking.
lost my shit. And for clarity, this was in a Rick and Morty video where they reference Worf from Star Trek. So it was definitely a Star Trek reference. Wasn't just me being picky.
So Ian and I are talking about this later, and I'm using speak to text because I cannot type. And so I say, I'm using speak to text. Please don't be triggered, but I'm talking about Worf, and it spells it WHARF.
Are you deliberately trolling me right now?
And I wasn't. I was really on speak to text, and I look at it, and I'm like, and Google's like, send this, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Send it.
And he just loses his shit. He's like, oh, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Just apologise for the thing that you just did in this message while apologising for the thing that you did in this. Stop it.
It wasn't me. Anyway.
You're going to laugh so much because Deanna's mother always calls him Mr. Wolf. Like, it's so great. And it happens, it's just like a running joke that happens. And in one of her last appearances, he goes to correct her and just goes, and doesn't, and it's the most beautiful reluctant sigh of I am just resigned to being Mr. Wolf for
Mr.
all
Wolf.
of eternity. It's fine. Mr. Wolf, please come
amazing.
with me. It's so
amazing.
great.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okie dokie, artifucking chucky.